Hello. Today I wanted to talk about, by the way, I should add verbally that all the book that I put out here, I have it in a PDF form. There'll be a link to, there's 4 PDF files for the book. And the book, Women Should Run Countries, Mostly Men Should Run the Economies, and 14 to 17-year-olds should have the vote. And there's PDF file attachments to links to in each one of the book. There's 8 book videos where I dictate the book or whatever you call it, read the book, and there's links to the PDF file version in each one of those videos. Today I want to talk about the third member of that title. First was Women Should Run the Economies or run the countries. Mostly men should run the markets, and it should be free market. And now 14 to 17-year-olds should have the vote. And not only that, they should have the vote. They should also be able to work full time. They should be able to live on their own and drive as well. I'll take it one at a time. Vote to me, at 14, most people at 14 can father or mother a child. And that to me is the most important thing in the world. So if you can do that legally, and of course you can, I mean, you can't be stopped, then you should be able to vote. I mean, if you're allowed to father or mother a child, then you're old enough to vote, period. That's it. End of story. It's ridiculous that you can't. I mean, you can have a child and raise a child, but you can't vote? That's crazy. No, you can vote. You should be able to vote between 14 and 17. Drive. In Canada, you're allowed to fly a plane solo at 14. But you can't drive a car. I've flown a plane, and it's a hell of a lot harder to fly a plane than it is to drive a car. So, no, it's... If you can legally drive a car or fly a plane solo in Canada, then you should be able to drive. And in the States, it's 16. You can legally fly a plane, but you should be able to fly. You should be able to drive at 14. If you can have a baby, then you need to be and raise a child. Then you need to have access to a car. So, and if you're gonna, you have to be able to drive. Now, maybe it's a little limited, maybe it's not, until you're 16, but you definitely need to be able to drive. Live on their own. High school is a waste of time. Public high school is a waste of time. I learned almost nothing in all my time in high school, public high school. Nothing. I learned 3 things. Pythagorean's theorem, algebra, basic algebra, and how to write an essay. Pythagorean's theorem, if I used it once, I'd be surprised. Once or twice. I think I used it once. Algebra, I used it a few times. Basic algebra is good to know. And how to write an essay, I definitely use that a few times. But all that I learned in grade 9. Yeah, I could have learned it in grade 8, easily. It wasn't, none of them are that complicated. Pythagorean's theorem is simple to learn. Basic algebra is relatively simple to learn. And writing an essay is not that complicated either. So, you could learn all of those in a week. And a month at the latest. So no, it's public high school is a complete waste of time. It was in my time. I'm middle aged, so I'm the X generation. Whatever's after the baby boomers. I think that's the X generation. Well, I'm that. And it was a waste of time in my time. For what I can see, what I've heard, it's a waste of time still. Private school is probably much better, but public school is a complete waste of time. So if you're 14 to 17, you don't want to go to high school, you shouldn't have to go to high school. It should be up to you. A lot of places now you have to be 16. It should be 14. And work full-time jobs, that's obvious. So the kids, there was child labor, 100 years ago, and it was abused. But people abuse these children. But I mean, if they were good enough to work full-time years ago, then they're good enough to work full-time now. So 14 to 17-year-olds should all get the vote, should all be able to drive to at least some extent. should definitely be able to live on their own. I mean, if you can have a child, then you can. If you can have a child, then you can live on your own. It's a hell of a lot harder to raise a child than it is to live on your own. That's not hard. If you have the money, it's not hard. So you should be able to work full time, live on your own, drive, and vote if once you're 14. And that's about it. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.